When you want only the best for your pet, check out AbbybellPetDesigns.com. We offer quality products such as floppy beds, crate pads, round pet beds, pillow slip covers, belly bands, and more. All products come in a variety of colors and sizes, guaranteed to satisfy your pet's particular style. Your pet deserves to be pampered, so shop at AbbybellPetDesigns.com. If you don't see the item you want listed in our shop, just drop us a line and we'll be glad to make the product of your pet's dreams. AbbybellPetDesigns.com.
And now, it's time to stand for truth.
Good morning, everyone. Hey, Gary, good morning. How are you? Gary, how's Hugh? Hey, Janice, Reblix, Teresa, Chezzy, good morning, Daniel, Alan, Wayne, how is everybody? Alan, Patricia, hold on, playing golf. Hey, Darlene, Tammy, how's everybody? Carmen, good to see you. Robin, how are you? I'm good. How's everybody else? Everybody on this glorious Monday, how are you? On this Columbus Day, how is everyone? Hey, Tom. Lynn, good to see you. Please retweet if you will. Let me, quickly as you're coming in, good morning, Camp Allen. Let me go ahead and read to you part of Psalm 50, and then we'll get started. The mighty one, God the Lord, has spoken and called the earth from the rising of the sun to its going down. Out of Zion, the perfection of beauty, God will shine forth. Our God shall come and shall not keep silent. A fire shall devour him before, and it shall be very tempestuous all around him. He shall call to the heavens from above, and to the earth, that he may judge his people. Gather my saints together to me, those who have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. Let the heavens declare his righteousness, for God himself is judge. Amen. Says, say amen to all the saints. How are you, saints? Before we get started, anybody who maybe bought my book, My Ears Are Not Like Yours, and you haven't put a review on the book yet on Amazon.com, would you be so kind as to do that? And if you haven't purchased my book, which is a positive message for children, would you please go and maybe purchase the book and consider buying it for a child who needs a positive message? Boy, do we need positive messages for our children today, I tell you. We need to step it up, put it in high gear. So first off, Justice Brett Kavanaugh, which really sounds good. He has been sworn in. He was sworn in on Saturday. They didn't want to waste any time at all. They wanted to get him in there, which is wonderful. The man was put through hell, and it was time to end that hell. Another thing, there are only two genders. The rest are mental disorders, Tom said. Fantastic little book, Carmen said. Thank you, Carmen. I want to spend some time talking to you about a couple of things today that are really important. And it's about Abby. That's right. It's about Abby. It's all about Abby. It always is all about Abby. Abby is the star of the book. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the Democrats. Does he get sworn in again today by Trump? You know, Danielle, I'm not sure. I thought there was a ceremony either later this afternoon or tonight. I know that right now that President Trump is on his way to Orlando, Florida. Supposedly he has Rod Rosenstein with him, and they're going to some ceremony for the chiefs of police. So I don't know what's going to happen after that. Robin said she's thrilled about Justice Kavanaugh. I am too. The one thing that I've said and repeatedly have said, that I don't know if, Justice Kavanaugh will give us everything we want, every conservative case will go our way, or, that type of thing. I think that and I don't think it will, he is going to side for other, what appears to look like it's against conservatism and things of that nature. However, what I really feel comfortable about is the fact that he will follow the Constitution and he will follow the law. That to me is more important than anything. If it goes against our favor at times, so be it. If that's the way the Constitution is written, so be it. We need to return, but it's a step in the right direction. Yeah, we need to return to sanity. Now, here's what the Democrats are planning. This is why, while, Justice Kavanaugh was great, and it is great, and it will continue to be great, we, the saints, we cannot rest, okay? I think you know that. I think you realize that the time is drawing close. For me personally, the time is drawing close for God's return. I feel that it is. I feel that people in the nation know that it is, and we have to keep going. That means, we need to focus and keep focused on God, but it also means that we, politics are a part of what's here in this world. We have to remember that we are in this world, but not of this world. So our focus needs to be on God. But in doing so, we need to know what is going on. What is the enemy doing? And so let me tell you what the enemy has planned for you and for me. Never goes our way all the time. Yes, he will follow the Constitution, Robin said. Now, here's what the enemy has planned for you. We start attacking back, hence comment about genders. Yeah, Tom, exactly. And the fact I put Columbus Day. Today, nobody wants to say Happy Columbus Day anymore because that somehow is politically incorrect. I'm tired of it. I'm not doing this political correctness anymore. So, move on. It's what I say. Okay, so the Democrats want to take back either the House or the Senate or both. They don't care. They'll be happy doing anything. And they also want to take over and have the presidency in 2020. I mean, that's pretty obvious. The other thing that they're planning on doing, that they have come up with now, remember, hey Jerry, remember that the Democrats and those on progressive left, let's just call them communist left, because that's what they are. Progressives are communists. Let's keep that in mind, okay? They want to take over the majority of the House and the Senate. They want to take over the presidency in 2020. And here's where the rule changing comes. They want to add 2 more seats to the Supreme Court, which has never been done, which I don't even know. Hey, Brandon, I don't even know if it's constitutionally okay to do that. I haven't really looked into it yet. But they'll find a way around the Constitution. But they want to add 2 more seats, and what they want to do is they want to fill those 2 seats with liberal judges. So they're anticipating that President Trump may put some more people in, and they want to kind of counteract that and tip it back to the left. Trump was just interviewed, and he believes a lot of Democrats are going to vote Republican. Oh, I believe so too, Tom. I think that while this woke Republicans up, it woke some Democrats up. Democrats who are saying, who the hell are these people? I don't even know what my party is about. This is embarrassing. Whoever does that type of thing. I saw article, and yes, it's constitutional for what it said. Patrice, it may be. Again, I want to go look at it. I believe you. I'll look at the article, but it may just very well be, which is crazy. Again, they want to change everything. They want to change the Constitution. They want to change the courts. They want to change they want to change everything. Wipe out, destroy America, the principles of America. That's what they want to do. They want globalism, open borders, and you are in their way. I hope they don't change it. Well, Carmen, the way they don't change it is that you keep President Trump in as president. Hey, Lori, and you keep a Republican in. Second Lady Karen Pence is here in Charlotte today, stumping for the 9th District candidate. Cool, Brandon. They're not going to get the privilege. Hope not, Danielle. Heck no. And again, you've got to wake people up around you. You've got to tell people around you, look, this isn't just, if you think it's conspiracy theory or, whatever, yeah, they do want to turn us into Venezuela. It's not conspiracy theory. This is the truth. This is where we are. This is where we're going, etc., etc., etc. So I don't know how you wake people up that but you need to wake people up. Hey, Bob, I've seen so many videos after he was confirmed. There are loony liberals. It's embarrassing to this country. They're insane, Robin said. I don't know if you watched that confirmation vote. I wish candidates would talk on this stuff, equal votes. Well, I wish they would too. Is it Patrice or Patricia? Good morning, Junior. How are you? Good morning, Susan, and everyone. MAGA. I don't know if you were listening when they were taking the vote in the gallery, but let me just tell you something. You know, I talked to you about gnashing of teeth. There was one point, the noises, the guttural sounds, the screaming coming from the back of the gallery, it sounded, okay, Patricia, cool. It sounded like demonic, possessed people. It's the only way that I can tell you what it sounded like. Cake and Sotomayor are just wrong. Well, yeah, they are. Yeah, Carmen, howling. It was from the pits of hell. I'm telling you, it sounded like animals so ridiculous that it's allowed. I know, Robin. And remember, and I know some of you know this, that I don't know what you call it, the image or the structure of Baal, B-A-A-L, some people say Baal, some people say Baal, was put in Washington, D.C. about the time of the Kavanaugh hearings when it started. I believe the day with Ford hearing especially, that it was there. Then you had also witches who were you know, quote unquote praying against, putting spells on the president and anybody else. So we have, not only do we have a spiritual battle, hey Debbie, and that we know that there's a spiritual battle, but now it's very clear. Now they're not holding back. They're not trying to hide it. They're not pretending anymore. It is there. And if you don't think it is spiritual, I can't help you figure it out. I really can't at this point. A literal spiritual war. It is covered by the blood of Jesus. Yeah, we have to do that, Mike. The left pundits denying they've turned commie and any violence, because Patricia, they don't see it. You know, they are deceived and they are under a delusion. And the Bible talks about that. I mean, it really does. And whenever I would see that in the Bible, I would think, how can that possibly be? That's just, I don't get that. I get it now. I get it now. You know, you don't need to hit me in the face with it anymore. I get it now. And they want people to think they have the moral high ground. I know, it's terrible. The Democrats reacted like when Crooked lost. Yes, they did, Junior. They also went out. I don't know if you saw the pictures of them, the videos of like Antifa going out and attacking. I've seen them attacking older people, like older men, taking their posters away from them, hitting their cars. Did you see the Twitter post? Yes, I saw Ariel Dumas. How evil is that? Yeah, and she said, Tom, oh, I was just being sarcastic. But let me talk to you about the article I wrote at SusanKnowles.com. If you didn't read that article, please read the article. And please today, if you will, please retweet it, share it with people. Gary said, I don't like this at all. Robin said it's a spiritual battle. Yes, it is. A couple of friends I have that leaned left are now so happy that Kavanaugh has been confirmed, and they seem to support Trump, which makes me happy. Keep it going there, Robin. Yes, it's under a great delusion. Now, the reason I wrote this article, and it's basically said the liberal left tried to defeat Kavanaugh by using Saul Alinsky tactics, but they failed. Now, I want to go over this because it is so important. Haley, it's so important for you to understand Saul Alinsky because you're going to see this more and more and more often. And if you understand what the rules are and how they're used, then you'll be able, Trump is strong, Mike, you'll be able to see it and defeat it and help other people defeat it. Liberal left is truly evil. Pamela, absolutely. Good morning, Daniel. Happy Columbus Day. I thought it was funny watching all those people get arrested on Saturday. I guess that's a bot right there. Susan is on it. Yeah, I am. I'm trying to be. Okay, now, first of all, I talk about pick a target. They needed to pick a target, and they picked a really good one. In this Me Too environment, there was really no better target to pick than Kavanaugh to prove their point, so to speak, and to try to bring this man down and unite their group. Now, it's good to remember that the whole thing about Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals, it was to unite those people, that they consider like the underdogs against everyone else, against the establishment, against anybody with, rational sense. But what you also have to remember that Saul Alinsky, he wrote that book and gave credit to Satan. So that should tell you a lot right there. Hey, Judy. So anyway, let me get back to what I was saying. So Kavanaugh, here's the reason he was such a great target. It was everything that the left hates and then some. He's presumably pro-life. He is a white male. He's from a privileged background. He has a great legal mind, and has had a very successful career because he has worked hard to achieve it. That's you think about that. That's everything the left hates. Everything. Now, they also needed to find somebody, I'll just call her a survivor, because in this political correctness society that we live in, you can't say what it is. Patsy, person that they needed to be the front person, like Anita Hill, but you can't say that in this politically correct world, so we'll just call her a survivor. And again, these are, not taking anything away from people who have been actually sexually assaulted. But when we take a look at this person, we had a person who was actually a very, an excellent candidate. Hey, Jamie, the left lost its mind. Oh, time to move toward America, forward America, yes. She was excellent because she's a professor, kind of a research professor, sort of unknown, never been heard of before. When she came before the hearing, she looked a little bit disheveled. She looked a bit nervous. She played the part really well. Now, I don't know if it was real. I'm not even going to, judge her one way or the other on that. People have said it was all fake. It was all, put on. This was what they put together, blah, blah, blah. Could have very well have been. I'm not going to say. But what we do know for sure is there was zero evidence in what she said. Zero. Now, the left wanted you, because, again, under Alinsky, if you say it often enough and long enough, then it changes into a reality and a truth for them. And so, basically, over and over and over, the message from the left, hey, Teresa, is believe women. She could have at least washed her hair. Well, I know. That was the first thing I noticed, Pamela. So they also needed to have a useful idiot. And they got a useful idiot by the name of Jeff Flake. And as you know, those political protesters, those paid political protesters, kept putting the pressure on him in the elevator. And so did his friend, hey Alexis, Chris Collins, who put pressure on him to get that 7th report from the FBI. So, in effect, what happened was, through this useful idiot called Jeff Flake, they were allowed to keep it going and turn the United States Constitution on its head. Probably McSally, Brandon, I think, will replace Flake if we're lucky. And so, all during this time, Kavanaugh was still guilty, right? He was guilty until presumed innocent, or until he somehow proved he was innocent, which, of course, you can't do. You can't prove a negative. It's not due process. It's not what the Constitution says. So this is what Jeff Flake, always remember that when Jeff is sitting on CNN being the commentator or whatever he's going to do, always remember that Saul Alinsky always finds a useful idiot to help them. Now, they also, part of the Alinsky rules is keep up the pressure and isolate the target. And they tried to do that really, really well. They tried to, go after, attack Kavanaugh, attack his family, sending disgusting and vile emails to his wife, threatening her, threatening the children. They then also, at the same time, threaten senators, threaten their lives, still sending vile to Cory Gardner's wife, sending beheading to her, a text message. But during this time, they kept that pressure up. And yes, the Colbert's writer, that Ariel Dumas, said, whatever happens, I'm just glad we ruined Brett Kavanaugh's life. And really, that's what they wanted. They wanted to keep the pressure up. They wanted to ruin his life. They wanted to take him down. Hey, Renee. And they wanted the president to walk away from him. Now, he's still a threat to them because he's still trying to change laws that they don't want changed. They see him as a conservative. They don't see him as a liberal. They wanted Merrick Garland or anybody more liberal even than Merrick Garland. So Nancy Pelosi is saying that she's going to try to file a FOIA request to get the information from the 7th FBI report so that they can continue to go after Kavanaugh. I don't know if they're going to try to impeach him, but Mazie Hirano has said, you know what, let's just don't worry about impeaching him now. Let's turn our focus onto the midterm elections. Hey, Tyron. And so that's what they're more likely than not to do that. I think Nancy wants, well, thank you, Tyron. I think Nancy wants to basically stay relevant. She wants to be the majority leader again when the Democrats hopefully take over the Senate and the House in their minds. And so she's trying to have some type of relevancy to keep that fight going. Now, and I think Nancy, regardless of what happens, Nancy's going to lose her power. Great grandma Nancy. Now, why was the left, who are usually successful with these Saul Alinsky rules, and again, they're going to be out more and more doing those Saul Alinsky rules. Nancy does need a mental evaluation. I agree with you, Brandon. I agree with you. Sometimes I can't even understand her, and a lot of people can't. Like, where is she going? What is she saying? 2 reasons that they weren't successful. The first reason, I honestly, absolutely, positively, without a doubt, agree that God stopped it. God stopped them from being successful. Because, why? Because the saints came together and they collectively prayed for justice, for truth, and for God's will. It was powerful. Prayer is powerful. And when they talk in the Bible about putting on the full armor of God, that is what the armor is. It's prayer. We have power in the name of Jesus, as they say, and I think we fail to acknowledge that and to use that and to cling to that, because there are, Ephesians 6, I believe, there are times when, when we're in trouble, that's when we look to God, and we shouldn't do that. We should look to God throughout. We should be focused on God throughout, because all of this going on in politics is just kind of an indirect illustration of what's going on in our world, in this world. Now, what's the second reason that they didn't succeed? The saints came marching in. That's right, Wayne. They didn't succeed because of President Donald Trump. He never asked Kavanaugh to withdraw. He believed in his candidate the entire time. Any other president would have said, you know what, Brett, we love you, but you need to go. And this president said, you know what, it's not fair. It's not fair for him. He has worked his whole life for this moment, and he deserves it. And as you heard the president say, I heard about this man 10 years ago, that this was the man to look out for, that he was going to be on the Supreme Court one day, that he was an amazing man, that he's educated. And by the way, Trump in his usual fashion fought back. And it's a good example of what we need to do, saints. A good example of what we need to do. But he knew that this man, that's right, he doesn't knuckle under. He knew that this man was destined for this position. Well, Renee, we'll get a chance to get Amy, I do believe, because I think some other people, Justice Clarence Thomas may retire. So if that happens, I think, Amy is probably a pretty good shoo-in. Hopefully she's next. Yeah, absolutely. And also with President Trump, he knew that this man's life was going to be in shambles if he left him at this point. His life would have been destroyed. He had no job to go back to. They would not have taken him back on the district court. They would not. They would have said, with all these allegations against you, we can't do it. They wouldn't take him back at Harvard with the teaching. The students didn't want him there. Hey, Marlene. And so he had no place to go. No place to go. And he rightfully deserves to be on the Supreme Court for everything that he has been through, for the preparation that he has made and laid for the groundwork for getting that position. And that, you heard the left say, well, it's not an entitlement. No, it's not an entitlement. It's a job that he worked tirelessly for, and you wanted to keep him from that job because you don't like him. You went from, oh, he's guilty, to when that was no longer, you couldn't, after the FBI report, you tried to do that. You tried to say, oh, well, the report wasn't long enough. It wasn't extensive enough. We need to do more. Why did you stop it? You changed it, blah, 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 blah. And then when that didn't work, it was, okay, he's got a bad temperament. And that's what Murkowski, shamefully, came up and said that. That if I were in Alaska, I would be going out and trying to expel this woman right now. I wouldn't wait till 2022. I would have her out tomorrow. Hillary thought the presidency was her entitlement. Yes, she did, Tom. Absolutely did. So, I just wanted to tell you that. Just remember, the Democrats changed the definition. They changed the rules. They're going to do that more and more. We're going to see more and more of this happening. It's going to get worse. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Sorry for the subject change, but I just got a picture of a nice bull moose. Okay, well, good, Alan. Maybe you can share that with us. Letter to vote. How are you? Murkowski betrayed the Republicans. Murkowski betrayed the Republicans. She certainly did. Now, Collins and all the other people. Collins is getting death threats, of course. Let's get all the high school yearbooks. Yep. Okay, say how ugly the left can get. Kavanaugh saw how ugly the left can get. Yeah, that's right, Grace. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's going to make him a better Supreme Court justice. Told my 5 grandsons never be alone with a woman ever. That's right. Ever, ever. But this is all the more reason that if you don't get out and vote Republican, you're going to lose the Republic. Now, I put together some things that I think are important for us to remember going forward. Some things where there's some problem spots for us. I want to talk to you about it, give you this information, whatever, if you want to use it and think about it. If we want to talk about it again, I'd be more than happy to. I don't know about you. I'm fired up. I'm not going back. I'm not sitting down. I'm not what Maisie wants me to, men to sit down and shut up. Next it'll be women, because now they're going to be mad at us. You can take notes if you'd like, Chessie. They're going to be mad at us because we're not going along with the crazies on the left. We must pray and work for victory. In midterms, crucial. Help out any way you can. Absolutely. The left wants. They're calling us their sisters. We need to tell them in no uncertain terms, you are not my sister. We are not your sisters. A sisterhood is when there is agreement. There is no agreement with you because you are globalists, you are anti-God, you are really, in effect, anti-women, anti-men, and anti-everything else. Hey, Ruthie, anti-everything that is good and what you're trying to do and spread your lies, and we're not your sisters. I never sat down and shut up. God knows my parents wish I would have. Sometimes Carmen said. Yeah, true. I'm sure. Like all of our parents. Take a picture of us listening and follow when Susan is done. So, here's some things that we need right away to do. Number one, because this just came out. Taylor Swift has basically gone full board leftist. We knew she was. But even more so, she's coming out. Because why? Because her fans said, Taylor, we want you to come out and we want you to talk against the president. And we want you to let your fans know that you're not for the president. Volunteer to make calls, ring doorbells, send money, support to the GOP candidates. Jerry said, we are civil in how we approach things the left isn't. Yeah, they're really not. She's always been a Satanist. Oh, I didn't know that. Wow. Oh, Hollywood should learn to entertain and shut up. Well, here's what we should learn. That was Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift, as you know, used to be a country singer who went over to pop music. And it was her basically, Saved by Grace, it was her I was going to say client base, but her fan base. So she influences people probably 30 and under. Yeah, it was probably her handlers, but, they said internationally they wanted her to speak out. She didn't mention President Trump by name, but she talked about how over the last 2 years, wink, wink, that how things had changed how she was not going to vote for Marsha Blackburn now in Tennessee, and she's going to go full on Democrat. Now, she was talking about how, let me see some of the things that she said. Not supporting Blackburn because it was clear she doesn't, she doesn't like LGBTQ rights. No discrimination based on sexual orientation is what Taylor wants. She said there was systemic racism. She said Blackburn voted against equal pay for women. She voted against the reauthorization of Violence Against Women's Act. Refused service to gays at businesses was what she was for, and that she wouldn't agree that gays had a right to marry. Now, she isn't going to sway the red tsunami. Yeah, I know, Ruthie, that's true. But as I said the other day, the people who listen to everything online and to social media are the millennials. Anybody over 30 gets their news mostly from TV, okay, which is bad in and of itself that way. But this is bad in it, because they will be listening to Taylor Swift. I always do opposite of what celebrities do too, Robin. I'm going to burn all my Taylor Swift 45, just crush them away and throw them in the trash. So one of the things I guess is that I'm saying, hey Rob, Taylor Swift hasn't been in the news for a few months, needed to get back her 15 minutes. We need to start saying, I will not buy these people's services, products, this, that, and the other. We say it, and then we go out and we do it anyway. I'm not saying in Taylor Swift, but for example, there were a lot of bad things that Starbucks did. And the political opinions of Starbucks, they're so far left. But I still see people going to Starbucks. Now, it's hard. You can't just quit everything. I realize it. But in those things that you can do, I think that we should do. And I think that we need to step it up. Because when you go out and you buy their stuff, you're supporting their political views. You really are. Yeah, I don't go to Starbucks. I haven't gone to Starbucks in, oh my gosh, I don't know, 10 years maybe? Yeah, it's overpriced garbage, but even more important than that, it's just garbage in their political views. I don't want to support their political views. What group does Kanye attract since he has boycott Taylor Swift? I don't buy Starbucks. Kanye right now is attracting some heat because, as you know, he's pro-President Trump. Yeah, Heinz ketchup, I don't buy that either. Yep, don't go back to Dick's. Yeah, yep. Boycott Starbucks. So all of those places, we have to actually say it and then actually do it. So we don't go buy their stuff. We don't promote their stuff. On and on and on. Robin said she deleted all of her songs from her iTunes. Starbucks, never go there myself. Yeah. I've not done Starbucks either for years. Target lost my business years ago. And we just have to let them know we're not going to do it. Brandon makes his own. Good, Brandon. Now, the second thing I think that we need to do, again, this is dropped out of the news, and that is Keith Ellison. We need to put, not deleted iTunes, Carmen, deleted the music of Taylor Swift off of her iTunes. That's what Robin did. So we've got to go back to Keith Ellison. We've got to keep the pressure on Keith Ellison. The midterms are coming up. His election is coming up. We've got to keep that pressure up. We've got to demand that there is a review, a legitimate one, not done in the back room somewhere where nobody sees it. I really wish it would do hearings. I'm so worried about libs getting back in power. Well, Robin, don't forget to listen to the replay. I talked about a lot of stuff that you really need to hear. So please, everybody retweet this for one and listen to the replay. And please go to SusanKnowles.com and retweet the article I wrote today. It's an extremely important article to teach people about things that they don't know regarding Saul Alinsky and what the left is going to do. A liberal boycott only lasts for a couple of days. A conservative boycott lasts forever. That's true. Thanks, Robin. Also, when was the last legitimate investigation of the left by the FBI? I don't even know if there has been one. And I'm not saying the FBI Ellison is thinking about resigning. Saved by Grace. Let me have that article if you would. Give us a link to that. I would love to see that. If Ellison becomes the AG, Sharia law will be normalized. And not only that, but if Ellison becomes the AG in Minnesota, he has vowed to go after President Trump. Now, they have filed so many lawsuits against him in California by the AGs here. You just can't imagine how much damage it will do to have them constantly going after the president. In California just recently, and this was something that came out the other day, so nobody was really listening because there was too much going on. If you guys would also, before I go on, please retweet this. We're past the halfway point. I don't know how we got there so fast, but please retweet it. California, that money that President Trump withheld because of the illegal immigrants and them not allowing ICE to be in California and do what they were going to do. Remember, he said he was going to withhold that money. Well, a judge in California found that he owes now $28 million to the state of California for that. So that's going to have to go all the way to the appellate court and then the Supreme Court, I'm sure. And so it just keeps the administration tied up in litigation over and over and over. Now, the other thing, we need to start demanding that all of these organizations that are paid for by George Soros. Now, again, George Soros paying these organizations, so far I can't find any reason why that's illegal. But these nonprofits who are taking that money, yeah, I'll take ice no straw for 1,000, Alex. We need to start demanding that the IRS pull these nonprofit status when they advocate. If yeah, no problem, Teresa. When they advocate for violence or they incite violence, like civil disobedience or whatever, we need to demand that the IRS look into that and take away their nonprofit status. That's the way to fight George Soros. We can't fight his money, but if he's giving money to all these nonprofits, we can go and look in to see what's happening, and we can, again, speak out in numbers to try to get that rectified and get their nonprofit status taken away. Soros is working with Iran, which is a violation. And listen, Brad, so did John Kerry, and nobody's done anything about that. So, the likelihood of them doing that is very, of trying to get anything done to arrest him or anything else, it's ridiculous. It's not going to do it. But maybe we can get them to take away their nonprofit status. Judicial Watch has filed a complaint against Maxine Waters. Good. Yeah, all of these people that are going out and advocating, like Maxine Waters, advocating for the Trump administration, the people to be harassed. See, that woman right now, we should have demanded and gotten a hearing on her because she's inciting violence. She really is. Soros is behind against Brexit too, and they don't see that he's bad. Yeah, she can reclaim her time in prison. Yeah, she needs to be brought to task. But we don't, as conservatives in the past, we haven't stood together long enough to get anything done. We did stand together long enough to get something done in Kavanaugh. And why did that work? Because of God, number one. And so everything that we do, has to be moral, ethical, and legal. But we need to go after these people to get them out of office or whatever the case may be, and get their nonprofit status taken away. Now, the other problems that I see that we have the media. The mainstream media, as the president has said, is an extension of the Democrat Party. It truly is. We need to have more organizations like what Fox used to be that would represent us. We have nothing. Loretta Lynch was first to call for blood in the streets. Oh, God, I know, Robin. But we don't have any news outlets except maybe One America News at this point, and maybe Newsmax, who are telling people what they need to know. People like myself, I do what I can, but compared to their audience, drop in the bucket. And Fox is sucking now. It is absolutely sucking. But One America News, and they're okay. They're okay. Hard to do when social media is pumping money into MSM and making them trend. That's right, Brandon. And again, remember, the young people who are listening to social media and online. All we have are real journalists on social media. Yeah, that's about it. And again, I know people get upset, and I don't ask for donations, but people get upset when people ask for donations. I put a lot of time and effort into what I'm doing, and it would be great. It would be great to be supported financially. It really would be, and I could do more. And I want to do more, and I want to do more with God's views on political news. Bill and I have talked about this, and we really want maybe this summer, if the finances are there, to come this summer and maybe go, I don't know, at a central point in Texas, and meet up with people and have people come together in the name of God, and maybe do live shows and things like that. Yeah, well, Robin, a lot of people do ask for, they get upset when they ask for donations. I have a donate button on my SusanKnowles.com. I would love to have donations for what I do here or for what Bill and I do on God's Views. Because we really want to do something. We want to do what, that Patreon, it's, you don't even have to do Patreon. I mean, I don't even know if people are finding that Patreon. It is, if you go to patreon.com and then put in the search bar Susan Knowles, you'll get to the right page. If you don't, you may get to the wrong page. But just go to SusanKnowles.com. There's a donate button there. Yeah, it is hard work, Robin. It is. I spend a lot of time doing this, and I spend a lot of time writing. I feel that, whether I'm paid or not, I will do it anyway, because it's what I'm supposed to do. Does Bill have anything beyond God's Views? He has his own ministry, Brandon, and he's written books, and he has very good books. But we want to do some things together, and the best time that we can do it is over the summer. But financially, unless we, have the finances there, we can't do it. There is a GoFundMe for the wall. Oh, good, Tom. Good. Maybe I should do a GoFundMe for what I'm talking about. But anyway, so the media is the next thing that we need to address. We need to figure out what we can do to get rid of the media, whatever. Sadly, most senior citizens get their only national and political news from mega partisan. I wrote an article about that last week. Read about go to SusanKnowles.com. I think I will do a GoFundMe. Go to, just scroll down, you'll see it says poll about Kavanaugh. If you go in that article, it will talk to you about the percentage of people that look at social media and online to get their news, and those people that look at mainstream media. The majority of people, as age 30 and over, look at mainstream media to get their news. Horrifying statistic. Now, the other thing, I would like to buy Christian products, put some of that on the grocery store shelves. Yeah, Gary, I tell you. The other part that we need to look at and figure out how to do some things is the brainwashing of our children, okay? That is going on, that's been going on, and it continues to go on. And you can see the quote-unquote fruits, maybe bad fruits, of that right now, and the people in Yale and Harvard who were I think it was Yale, who were calling for Kavanaugh to step down, who were out complaining, who were willing in a law school where you're supposed to learn the Constitution and due process, were willing to say this man is guilty before proven innocent. Okay, so that's where the brainwashing has started from elementary school on up. That's where the political correctness, that's where everything else has gone. What can you do about it? Number one, encourage homeschool. Encourage homeschool. That's number one. Worry about like what's going on in your churches. Demand that your churches go to whatever board you have to go to in the church that you're in, and demand that the church preach the Bible. Period. And if they're not going to do that, or if they're going to be a grace-based church, then go out and find another church, but try to change that church. Public schools, try to get the curriculum changed there. Try to get it changed to more rational, fact-based curriculum. Good luck with that. Public education has become a cesspool of political correctness and Marxist indoctrination. And partisan, a lot of that is, part of it is because under Obama, he took over the schools. But if parents, God love them, if they would stand together and demand that their school get in lockstep with what the parents want, then that would change. Until then, it won't. And keep praying. I think, for us, prayer has got to become a daily thing that we do, unquestioned, and maybe that first thing of the day that we do. If we don't continue our prayer, I'll just start praying. If we don't continue that, you're good, your nephew's in private school. If you don't continue to praying, then we go right back to where we were before Kavanaugh and before Trump and everything else. We've got to, as I said, we've got to stand up for this war on men, the war on Christians that are coming. Happy Columbus Day, Boomer. And we have to, as women, we need to stand up and tell these women on the left, we are not your sisters. Everything government does slowly diminishes. Yep, we must start going to school board meetings, city councils. That's where it starts. Absolutely. And that's where a lot of, parents need to get back involved in their schools. They really do. Parents have turned over everything to the schools and said, hey, take my kids. I mean, that's essentially what's happened. And I don't have kids, so I'm not in that game. I try to do as much as I can, but it's not up to me. Our prayers need to include thankful worship as well. Yes, God sees the people asking for salvation through prayer and will respond in kind. Absolutely, Tom. Local stuff matters more than federal at this point. And remember, what happens at the local level goes to the federal level. All these people that you see that are, on the left, that are just crazy left stuff, they started in local levels and made their way up. Just remember this, that Kamala Harris at one point didn't have a job doing this, right? And by means that I won't talk about, and other people have rumors about, she became, she got in a state level, and now she's federal level, and then she wants to be president. Didn't work too well for the Puritans to try and change the church, Alan said. Working, listening, hi all, had an MK customer, Mary Kay watch replay also. Cool. In Canada, it is Thanksgiving today. Well, happy Thanksgiving Day to Canada. It would be more of a Thanksgiving Day if you didn't have your leader, I'm sure. That's right, someone can start as a community organizer. That's right. Now, let me get into some other news. She is reading that Ford infiltrated and disrupted. Oh, reason. Okay. Kamala Harris. Oh, God. Anyway, in Florida, Michael is now a hurricane. It has strengthened. It's on its way to Florida, and it may be making landfall there about Wednesday. We should also go after low-hanging fruit such as Cory Booker. Oh, Tom, absolutely. Again, he should resign because of what his admission was. So he should resign. We could keep that up. But I'll tell you, if like when we leave this Periscope and people don't retweet this Periscope, or people just decide, yeah, it sounds good, but I don't want to do it, then we're not going to get anywhere. Going to hit me starting tomorrow, Patricia said. Marlene's going to have a flooded house. Michael is coming just in time for Halloween. Just kidding. Yeah. Ugh. Yeah, pray for the people in Florida. And I'll tell you something. There was in Stolen Valor, Blumenthal, yeah. There was JD was talking about this morning how things, or no, it wasn't JD, I think it was somebody else, was talking about how they're starting to see destruction coming in twos. How, like, for example, there was an earthquake in Indonesia, and then a tsunami right after. So it was like a bang, bang, and there are a lot of things that are starting to happen like that. So birth pains ramping up. They are, Brandon. So for all those people who are in Florida, be careful, because that flooding, I don't know, what kind of destruction that it can cause. I don't know if you guys have landslides. I've lived here 27 years, nothing new. Yeah. Praying for Florida. It looks like it's headed for some of your family members, Robin said. Hurricane Wilma hit us in late October. Earthquake and tsunamis go hand in hand. Lots of amendments or assessments, whatever they're called, for local ballots get informed. All West Coast Florida and up through Panhandle area prepare. Storm surge, rain winds, then into interior. Been a lot of hurricanes. And I don't think there's anything too unusual about hurricanes. It happens every year, but they seem to be getting a little bit more intense, but I don't know. The tsunamis and the earthquakes in Indonesia and places like that, they seem a little bit more intense. So, in New York, A tragedy happened over the weekend on Saturday. Must pay closer attention to city council, mayor, sheriff, and state legislature elections. Absolutely, MAGA. Last week was in the 90s every day. Wow. Research your court appointments will be on ballots. Yes. What I say is vote straight Republican. If you want to save the Republic, vote Republican. So, on Saturday, there was a tragedy that happened. There was, as you may have heard, a limousine that was taking 17 people to a birthday party. Two of the people in there were newlyweds. Another couple had small children, and on and on and on. The driver, they say, blew a stop sign and was hit into another vehicle. And basically all 18 people inside the vehicle died, and 2 people, pedestrians, on the outside died. Yes, we got a community activist for mayor. He told everyone he was a Republican. Good. I was at the restaurant years ago, Apple Barrel Inn. Yeah, that was such a tragedy. So sad. I guess they'll do reports on the driver and to see if he was drinking, but where the limo hit, yep. Hi, Susan. I've been listening on my big screen, and I'm just switching from my TV to cell phone. Happy Columbus Day. Congratulations, Justice Kavanaugh. Boycott Starbucks. Pray for SCOTUS. Absolutely, Monique. There was just an earthquake in Haiti Saturday. That's about the second one, Dawn. Saw an 18-wheeler on its side yesterday, really bad. How in the world do 18 people die in a crash? Usually some survivors. I know, Tom. Awful. Very sad. Wonder if the driver was drunk or a terrorist. I know. Yeah, I guess they'll be finding that out, Monique. That's something that they were going to be looking into, of course. They say limo did 60 plus miles per hour, blew the stop sign, careening through parking lot. You know, I mean, I guess it's possible that the driver had a heart attack. Didn't sound like it, but anything's possible until they find out what it was. Sure was, like I said, a real tragedy. I don't know if when it hit, it just exploded and that people blew up and they didn't have time to get anybody out. I don't know. I was thinking drunk or fell asleep. Yeah. Ugh. Such a tragedy. And hearing all this, it's, more and more every day we hear so much. I was thinking carbon monoxide poisoning. Camaro, I don't know about that. So no explosion, Tom said. Okay. That is sad. Yeah. So I don't know why everybody died all at once, and use mail-in ballots to better research all the down ballot elections, especially local primary elections. Maybe not wearing seatbelts. Yeah, they don't wear seatbelts back there, Wayne. The driver's supposed to have a seatbelt on and the passenger next to them, but not the people in the back. Heard 4 daughters of the same family died. Oh, Barbara. What's so sad? It was 4 sisters and 3 of their husbands leaving behind kids, Dawn said. I hope we know soon. Do you think we're going to lose the House in November? Left MSM is claiming a blue wave victory more now than previous weeks. What's your opinion? No, Monique, I think also, as I was saying, and you probably heard, that the media is not our friend. The media is our enemy. The media, it will say whatever they have to do to make you think that there's a blue wave and that you are going to sit home. Have a great day getting back to it. Okay, Brandon, thanks for stopping in. Good to see you. Some rear doors only open from the outside, Wayne said. Yeah, don't believe the polls or the media. Nope. Keep praying. And Dawn said, nope, in red wave. Keep praying is most important. Keep asking God to do his will. And ask God to let justice come through again for us. But I think that, again, the reasons that some things are happening in our favor is because the saints are praying. And the saints are praying to God for God's will. And we need to keep doing that. When we stop doing that, we're finished. We're finished. Melania Trump said she got in trouble. Some people didn't like the white helmet she was wearing. I mean, it's got to be something. Nobody ever talked about what what's-her-face, Michelle Obama was wearing. But every time Melania steps out, we've got to criticize something that she's doing. Whether it's the jacket that she's wearing, or hair is parted the other way, or, whatever. She looked great. She looked amazing. But that white helmet it has to do with colonial rule, and that's why they didn't like it. She looked fantastic, and Melania came out and said, "Why don't you talk about my actions and not about my fashion?" So she was basically saying to the mainstream media, "Quit trying to make crap up. Why don't you look at what I'm doing rather than what I'm wearing? If we were to lose the House, it would be sure victory 2020 once people saw how they'll rule. We can't even go there. We can't lose the House. We can't lose the Senate. We can't. She's beautiful and they can't stand that. That's true, Robin. One media guy said Melania looked like a Nazi with her hat and clothes. You know, whoever that media guy was, they need to go. These people are ridiculous. Rhinos get elected because people have not been voting in the primaries. Yep. If we were to lose, let's see, another bot. Yeah, that's why people need to, every election, midterms, primaries, whatever the case, you need to get out and vote. And, you know, it's a constitutional right that you have. It's also something that you could lose because of the crazy left. Thought it was something to do with archaeology dig fashion. No. Agree, don't think God would bring us this far, Patricia said. Yep. Julie Swetnick, you remember Julie with her attorney, the creepy porn lawyer. She's all upset because now she feels revictimized by the GOP and the media. So another woman with uncorroborated, I won't say the word I'm thinking, uncorroborated evidence and a background that lends itself to looking at her with skeptical eyes because of the credibility issue. Now she's feeling all left out, you know, because I wish Periscope would do something about these sex bots. Well, maybe you could write them and tell them that, Chizzy. Everyone wore them in Indiana Jones. Creepy poor lawyer picks them. Yeah, he does, doesn't he? He really does. And of course, he's so offended, and he's defending her and himself because he needs to try to stay relevant, and he's not. As I mentioned earlier, Senator Cory Gardner's wife got a graphic text. No, I don't think the Ford and the lawyers will be investigated. I think that they will just let it go, Conwell. That's usually what we do. We just let things go, and they come back to bite us. I think maybe one or two people might try to do it, but I don't think there's enough behind it to get it done. And we should be holding every single one of them accountable. Hey, Robin. And you know, the thing of it is, look how quickly Ford came out and said, oh, you know what? If we get back the House and the Senate, don't go after Kavanaugh. Don't try to impeach him. And the attorneys were all like, you know, trying to just sort of walk everything back. Come on. If you are that angry over somebody after 36 years, you don't quickly come out and say, you know, let's just go on. Let's just move on. Sorry, don't do it. Little bit odd things there. All right. Now, in addition, Crazy Sweat Nick said, as you know, I watched Miroscope. It almost had me in tears. He looked so sad. I know, Teresa. He was very sad that day, very exhausted, and he had the weight of the world on him. He'd been attacked by Anonymous. Also, J.D. Farag mentioned in his Periscope, his YouTube yesterday, that he had been under demonic, evil attack for the last 2 weeks. Just noticed that Rod Rosenstein is hanging out with Trump today. Yes. Rosenstein was on Air Force One. Hey, Patterson. On Air Force One with President to go to a meeting in Orlando regarding the chiefs of police. Hope he doesn't fall for the BS. I'm not necessarily convinced that Rosenstein's going to go anywhere. I think the only way that Rosenstein would go anyplace is if Rosenstein decided that he wanted to resign. And other than that, the president would have fired him by now. Gateway Pundit showed Ford House, second door done in 2008. Yep. Yeah, Patricia, like her boyfriend said, she lived on like a 500 square foot house at one time, and she only had one door. She wasn't worried about being confined. Before it continues, she's afraid she will wind up in jail. Yeah, Tom, and I think the attorneys are thinking if they continue, they'll wind up in front of the bar. Physical attacks and public intimidation against politicians are hate crimes. Absolutely. Have a great day, all. Thank you, Lee. You have a great day. God bless you. Hope you see you tomorrow. Think Trump will keep him till the midterms. I think he'll try, Cully. Again, I think Rosenstein will have to resign. He's not going to fire him. I don't know that he will be fired after. I'm hoping that Jeff Sessions will. In the name of Jesus Christ, put your cover over Amir. Yes, Teresa. Don't you think Blasey would be charged with perjury? No, Camaro. Nobody. I don't think anybody's going to pursue her. Why? Why are they not going to? Thank you, Chazzy. God bless you too. Happy Columbus Day, Gary. The reason they're not going to go after her is because that would be the hateful GOP going after the survivor of sexual assault. That's why they're not going to go after her. See, it's a hands-off thing. It's like when Obama was president. Hands off there. Because he was African American. Off to make preparation for Michael. See you later. Okay, Marlene, see you. I suspect Rosenstein is going to feed Trump a bunch of lies. Well, he already has. They can't prove anything because she has no evidence. Yeah, there is no evidence. But, you know, Teresa, if she believes it in her mind, it's very hard to say that she lied. So there you go. Trump is smarter than he lets on. Absolutely. All right, everybody, thank you so much for being here today. Please retweet this. Please, if you will, share my article at SusanKnowles.com. And again, if you bought my book, My Ears Are Not Like Yours, please go to Amazon, if you will, and leave a review if you haven't done so. And if you haven't bought the book, please consider doing that today at Amazon.com. My Ears Are Not Like Yours. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. God bless. God bless everybody on YouTube. See you tomorrow.